Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be showing off Silver Wolf with her upcoming character buffs alongside Acheron. And before we get into today's video, I would love to know, out of all the characters that are getting character buffs, which one are you personally the most excited for, and also which character would you want to get a buff? Lastly, if you enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. So for today, we're going to be using Acheron, Cypher, Acheron, and then Silver Wolf. So we're just going to use our techniques, and then boom! Cypher's going to come in with her follow-up, and now we're going to mainly be focusing on this enemy here onto the right, because there is a way for us to actually avoid dealing with it using its attacks that could potentially imprison us, as you guys will see in a moment here. So we're just going to focus on attacking the robot to the right primarily for right now, and with Acheron, we are of course going to use her ultimate as well, and boom, there we go. Robot on the right is almost broken, and with Acheron we could just basic attack. With Acheron now we can skill, there we go. Now that enemy is broken. With Silver Wolf we will just use her skill for a bit more energy. And now this robot is in sanction mode and it's going to summon its fish, but as you guys can see, this robot doesn't actually have another turn within this cycle here. So we don't actually have to deal with it potentially imprisoning us, which would be really annoying to deal with. So thankfully we don't have to deal with that, since we were able to break it when we did. So now with Cypher, we could just use our skill. We are going to switch the patron to the middle robot, since I do want to, of course, deal some damage onto those fish as well, since they will be able to explode and then reduce these enemies' defenses even further. So now with Acheron, we're just going to use his ultimate. Boom. And we got the follow-up as well, which is great. The fish are going to explode. And now the enemy to the right is almost a goner, so this is really good. And what we're going to do is just focus on the robot to the left now, as this robot has majority of the HP remaining. With Silver Wolf, we're just going to skill. And now with Acheron, we can use her skill and now follow up with her ultimate. And we will be able to move on to the next wave, still within the 0 cycle. So boom, there you go. And now with Cypher, we're just going to basic attack. And now with Silver Wolf, what we could do is just use her skill. We are also going to use Silver Wolf's ultimate as well, just to further reduce these enemies' defenses right here. Boom. We're going to take a bit of damage right here. This will be okay. And of course, Acheron being able to use his follow-up is really useful. And now we're going to follow up here with Acheron's ultimate. With Acheron, we are just going to basic attack, and with Acheron, once again, another skill. Boom! And now with Cypher, basic attack, we can definitely take advantage of quite a lot of basic attacks with her if need be. And now with Silver Wolf, what we're going to do is still attack in the middle here and then follow up with her ultimate, and we don't have to use her skill since we are already super close to getting her ultimate anyway. Now with Acheron, we can use her ultimate once again, and we're going to be able to take advantage of frequent Silver Wolf ultimates throughout this showcase. Now he's going to summon his little robot hand, and hopefully just don't take Acheron, okay? That's the only thing I beg. Do not take Acheron. Okay, it took Cypher. Honestly, I think it would have been a bit better if they took Acheron, but it's okay. What we're going to do is just use Acheron's skill like so. Boom, deal a nice amount of damage. And now with Silver Wolf, what we're going to do is actually break the hand so we can get back our favorite cat. Yippee, we got Cypher back. We're going to take a bit of damage. Perfectly fine though. What we are going to do is just use Silver Wolf's ultimate once again. There we go. Cypher's going to come in with a follow-up. Now another follow-up coming in from Acheron. And now with Cypher, we could just use her skill. Acheron is going to use her ultimate. And we're just going to be able to take advantage of these frequent Acheron ultimates throughout this showcase, especially since Silver Wolf and Cypher are doing a very nice job at helping Acheron get more stacks. And in the case of Acheron, he's also very helpful as well. So now we can just use Acheron's skill. With Acheron, we're going to basic attack. And now we are going to get Acheron's ultimate, which is great. Robot onto the right is almost a goner as well, which is really good. And we're just going to be focusing on getting Acheron as many stacks as possible, and we're also going to take advantage of Cypher's ultimate very soon. So he summoned his hand again, which is a bit annoying, but thankfully what we could do here is use Silver Wolf's ultimate right here, as well as get those 2 follow-up attacks. So we do have max stacks with Acheron, which now allows us to use her ultimate once again. So we won't actually have to deal with this hand right here, potentially taking away one of our characters. Since if they do take away Acheron, that ends up being really annoying, since we do want to, of course, take advantage of Acheron's skills and her ultimate for the damage it'll be able to deal. Now with Cypher, we are going to skill. With Silver Wolf, we are going to use her skill and actually get enough energy to use another ultimate. Cypher's follow-up comes in. And now we're about to actually get another Acheron ultimate once we use Cypher's ultimate. So while Cypher's ultimate here should be able to perfectly kill, we would actually have an Acheron ultimate if need be as well. And then, well, bam, there we go. We just saved up those coins throughout the entire fight. So now what we're going to do is we are going to check out the builds of today's video. So here we have Acheron, and he has a nice amount of crit rate, nice amount of crit damage, 135 speed. She does have speed boots equipped. We're just going to quickly go through her stats and quickly go through the rest of the character's stats, as well as talk about Silver Wolf's character buffs. We do have her signature light cone, maxed out traces. For the relics, we're using Isamo and Pioneer. Completely E0. I've not activated any of these. Here we have Cypher. We're just going to go through her stats. I would prefer honestly having more effect hit rate on her, but this is okay. We do have Cypher's signature light cone, which is really handy just for being able to reapply the defense reduction from this light cone. And of course, it'll increase her speed as well, which is really handy just for being able to reach higher amounts of speed. We have maxed out traces. For the relics, we're using Lushaka and Pioneer. Lushaka is going to be able to further boost Acheron's attack. As for the Eidolons, completely E0. I've not activated any of these. Now we have Aventurine, and here he is. He does have a signature light cone, but of course you can use alternative light cones, such as Japard's 5-star light cone. There are also a couple of 4-stars. You can use Trend of the Universal Market, so that when enemies attack Aventurine, they have a chance of being burned, and so on. For his traces, they are maxed out. For his relics, we're using Inert Salcedo and Pioneer. And for his Eidolons, completely zero. I've not activated any of these. Now lastly, we have Silver Wolf. We have 162 speed. We're focusing mainly on her speed and her effect hit rate. Her effect hit rate though can be lower than this, but that's just what we ended up getting with our current setup. We are using the free-to-play light cone before the tutorial mission begins. For the traces, they're maxed out. For her relics, we're using Spratly Von Whack just so she's able to get a turn very early on into the fight and debuff enemies, and then also Eagle of Twilight Line. Since she is able to get her ultimate as frequently as she does, she can nicely take advantage of this set in order to advance herself forward after using her ultimate, which now results in her taking more frequent turns. And also, she's completely E0. I've not activated any of these. And her E2 is also really nice when it comes to its potential with an Acheron team as well, which let's actually go over Silver Wolf's character buffs here. This is a little button next to her light cones. We're just going to click that. And here's like a sum up of some of her character buffs. And of course, we can take more detailed look, but just as a quick sum up, her ultimate can cause an AoE attack. So now she's debuffing all enemies with her ultimate. Her skill will prioritize the weakness corresponding to the first ally in the lineup, in this case, Acheron. So her weakness implant will have a priority on lightning weakness instead of the rest of the characters in the team, since Acheron is in the first slot. And then it says lastly, at the start of battle and her turn, she will regenerate energy, which this is going to be very useful for her to be able to use her ultimate more frequently. Now, if we take a detailed look right here, I didn't really know where to move myself, so I'm just going to go over here. But it does show you in the orange text the primary changes from her original skill, which in this case, her base chance is higher. It's now at 120. She will also prioritize implanting the weakness corresponding to the first character in the lineup. So in this case, Acheron is in the first slot, so lightning weakness. She's going to implant now for 3 turns instead of 2 turns. Additionally, they did increase the amount that she'll be able to reduce the enemy's ult type res as well from 10% to 13%. As for her ultimate, it now has a 120 base chance to decrease all enemies' defense by 45% for 3 turns. The main change here is the base chance is increased, and now she will debuff all enemies with her ultimate instead of only 1, which is really good in the case of using her in a team where your damage dealer is a blast attacker or a AoE attacker. In this case, Acheron is an AoE damage dealer, so Her ultimate's going to hit all enemies. So this change is really good when it comes to Silver Wolf's synergy with Acheron, just so Acheron can now take advantage of the defense reduction on all enemies. We also have Silver Wolf's talent changes, which now her bug that reduces defense, it went from 8% to 12% defense reduction, which is great. She now also has a 100% base chance to implant one random bug whenever she attacks, so the base chance on that did increase. And lastly, when the enemy target's defeated, the weakness Silver Wolf implanted will actually be transferred to another surviving enemy on the field that has not been implanted yet, prioritizing elite enemies or higher. So in this case, why this is really good is, let's say you weren't able to use Silver Wolf's skill just yet to re-implant an enemy. In this case, let's say it was Acheron's type, so implanting them with lightning weakness. What's really nice about this is the weakness will just transfer onto them once you defeat the enemy that was implanted with this. You can nicely take advantage of the weakness implants immediately rather than having to reapply it once again. She now has a 100% base chance of implanting one random bug rather than a 65 base chance, which is a pretty big increase, I would say, going from 65% to 100%. As for Silver Wolf's bonus ability Inject, now this completely changed, as before it revolved around the duration of her weakness implant increasing by 1 turn, but now they just added that to her skill instead. Since her skill went from 2 turns to 3 turns for her implant, they actually gave her a completely different ability instead, which now she'll regenerate 20 energy at the beginning of battle, and then also be able to regenerate 5 energy at the start of her turn. This is really good since this will allow her to be able to use her ultimate more frequently, as you guys were able to see. And then for her bonus ability side note, now it is for every 10% effect hit rate Silver Wolf has, additionally increase her attack by 10% to a max of 50%. This essentially means if you have 50% effect hit rate, now you'll be able to increase her attack by 50%. As for her Eidolon adjustments, they changed her E2 and her E4. When any enemy target enters battle, she'll be able to increase their damage taken by 20%. And then when an enemy target receives an attack from an ally, Silver Wolf will have a 100% base chance to implant the attacked enemy with a random bug. So whenever now your allies attack enemies, Silver Wolf has a chance to debuff them, have the potential to get even more stacks now for Acheron depending on your team lineup. So this can actually be a very nice chase right here for furthering her potential alongside Acheron, but also, of course, just having more debuffing potential as well, just for being able to further amplify the damage output of the team. And then also here's her E4, which the primary change they made is that this effect can be triggered for a maximum of 5 times against each target during each use of her ultimate. That was the change for her E4. Overall, I would say her changes were really nice when it comes to her being able to have even more versatility now with Acheron, since she is going to be able to reduce all enemies' defenses. Her base chances did increase, which is really nice for being able to have more consistency with debuffing enemies, especially if you were lacking some of the effect hit rate she wanted. And of course, she can be used on other teams as well. And I will also be showcasing the other characters very soon when it comes to Jingliu, Kafka, and then Blade. I'd love to know which one you would like to see the most and also what team you would like me to play. It's a very fun team as well if you do not have Jiaoqiu, but even if you do have Jiaoqiu and you don't have Cypher, for example, you can use Jiaoqiu in the slot of Cypher if you would like. That can work as well. And then of course, if you want to potentially use some Harmony characters, there's also potential for that as well. But overall, I think this was pretty fun to show off. I do like Silver Wolf's changes quite a lot. I would love to know what you guys think about Silver Wolf's changes. Also, now will you be using Silver Wolf more frequently on your teams? And lastly, if you did enjoy this video, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.